What are some customs and things that you remember as a kid that don't exist today?
Well, we wore poodle skirts and saddle shoes,
Yeah?
and those don't exist anymore, I don't think.
No? Mm-mm.
And we used to wear school sweaters.
Mm-hmm.
You had a school sweater that had a letter on it, you know, and I don't see those existing anymore.
No.
And
Are there certain customs that used to exist about, like, dating and courting and, you know, meeting a future husband or wife? What are some customs that used to exist that don't exist anymore for that?
well, you used to try to find someone close to your age
Mm-hmm.
and close to your ability, as far as you didn't want them to be smarter than you, I guess you'd say, or dumber than you are. You didn't want to constantly be correcting them
Mm-hmm.
or having them correct you. And now it doesn't seem to make any difference.
Mm-hmm. Would girls call boys on the phone, or how would that work when you were trying to date?
Boys called girls on the phone.
Girls didn't call boys?
No.
No. Did you write letters?
Yes, we wrote notes back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a different school than you I had, where my classes were didn't have boys. My school didn't have any boys in it.
Right.
So it was kind of hard to get a note to a boy unless you did it on your lunch hour.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And lunch hours we spent together. But other than that, we were not together at all.
Right. Okay. So then when it came to actually dating somebody, where would you go?
You mean on a date?
Yes.
Oh, you go to the show.
What kind of show?
Um,
A movie?
Huh?
A movie?
A movie, yeah,
Okay.
a movie show. We used to go to dances at the school.
Mm-hmm.
They had one night that was classified as dance night, you know, so you went there. That was about all, though. You used to go to the sweet shop,
Uh-huh. What would you get there?
an ice cream cone,
Mm-hmm.
or a milkshake, or something sweet.
And that was back in the 50s, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So when it came to a marriage proposal, how did that happen when you were getting married?
Well, the South Side used to be much more inhibited. You know, I mean, it was populated a lot more. There was houses and everything. And I was at State, Illinois, you know, I mean, the state hospital,
Mm-hmm.
doing my affiliation. And your dad came to town, and he had purchased a ring. And so we were going to go out someplace, and we were going to go to a show, and all of a sudden he turned up one of these streets down there and stopped the car, and I said, "What are we going to do? Where are we going?" And he said, "Right here." And he pulled it out of the glove compartment and said, "Would you marry?"
Yeah. Did you say yes right away?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You didn't wait on that, huh? No.
No. And the people on the porch were laughing.
Oh.
I'll never forget them.
Yeah. And how did you tell your mom?
We went right away.
Yeah. And was she happy for you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although I was in school and she wanted to be sure that I finished school
Sure.
before we got married, you know. So
Mhm.
we assured her that we would finish school that I would finish school before we got married.
Yeah.
And your dad was in the service,
Mm-hmm.
so that took care of that.
Right. Right. How do you view raising your children different than the way people raise children today?
Well, my children, I think, knew what the boundaries were, and if they wanted to go over the boundary, they came and asked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I never had a child that went over the boundary without asking.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And how do you view that? How do you compare that with today's children?
Well, today they run wild.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They have no control over them.
Right. So I'm going to end here with one more question. If there's, well, maybe two. What is one thing that you miss most about being younger? In your elderly years right now where you are, what is one thing you miss about being younger? And it can be anything. It can be the people that used to be in your life. It can be where you lived. It can be what you used to do for holidays. It can be anything. What's one thing that you miss the most about not being young?
I miss the friendships that I had years ago. You know, many of them have died. Many of them have jobs and they don't even live here anymore. I miss the friendships and the fact that you can't pick up the telephone and call them,
Mm-hmm.
or you're not going to see them tomorrow night.